Uh-oh. I screwed up. We're just going to go live.
We'll do it live.
The new intro we already
We're in. We're in. We're live. Old Line Cryptids is with you. Some dummy didn't upload the brand new intro yet. That would be this guy right here. Woo-wee. But anyway, we got Mikey. We're going to call him Mikey tonight instead of Michael. We're going to Mikey Burkhardt tonight. And intrigued with a lot of his information last week. In fact, Jeff and I were on the phone for an hour and a half after last week's show. And we agreed that we need to do round two and maybe more because I know you mentioned some other stuff of paranormal. So,
yeah.
So I'm sure we're going to get more than just two shows out of Mikey. And
Nice.
Of course, we got our guest co-host tonight, Mr. Brother David Blalack. That guy over there, beside Jeff. But
River just said that his laptop is updating.
Okay. Now that our secret's given away, hopefully we'll get a coo-wee here shortly out of River Mars. He's going to try to come in and join us later as well too. So, Jeff, how are you, buddy?
I'm good. I'm dealing with a little bit of poison ivy I just discovered after my weekend with Mike, and
you shouldn't have been rolling around in poison ivy, guys.
I'll take the heat.
But
No comment.
Mikey's got a damn tick stuck to him. So
I had ticks and mosquitoes and
yeah. So Misty Haynes is in the house, Phyllis Perry and
Nice.
Michelle Powell, and on and on and on. So we expect a whole bunch more to be filtering in here. So
Nice.
yeah, Greg will be in here shortly, I'm sure. And again, hopefully we can get Australia in here too. So, but anyway, I don't know where to start. I'm just going to let you guys start. Give us a little rundown of what you started with Sunday. And I've got a video loaded up, and you just let me know when you want me to start playing that video here in a little bit. And what I'll do is I did take all the sound out of your video clips, so we can just forward through, and you guys can talk your way through that. And I'll pause every video and every photo and give you guys a shot to talk to us about it. So
go ahead, Jeff.
How about it?
So Mikey and I met up on Sunday before the torrential downpour. And he took me in there and showed me a lot of the spots where he's found stuff. And we took some pictures. We found some stuff and didn't get to make it to all the good parts because the rain was coming in and it was getting dark and the mosquitoes were about to carry us off. Those mosquitoes were bad, weren't they, Mike?
Gnarly.
Hi, Mark. Mark Green's in the house.
Oh,
Nice.
we got a miniature dog. Well, not a dachshund. Yeah. What are those things, pinchers?
Min pin?
Min pins. And David's got 2 min pins. I think
Oh,
David's
nice.
found.
Anyway.
Anyway, we have we found one of those Mylar balloons Mikey was talking about.
So random.
Laying in the mud, and the ribbon was tied around a couple of branches that were broke off laying on the ground, but it was no longer connected to the balloon. And then in the same spot, we found an egg. Looked like either a large chicken or a large duck egg. And looked like something had opened it and slurped the contents out of there. It didn't look like it had hatched. And then I was going to bring the egg home, but I accidentally stepped on the egg because I forgot where I set it down. So, but I do have the balloon. It's over in my shed. We got to check out some spots. We got to see where Mikey had his sighting. Found some of the areas where the old structures were, but they were pretty deteriorated from being out there for several years, so we didn't really get too much out of that. Although you can tell it's there. It just was covered up with leaves and it was starting to rain, so we really didn't mess with trying to unearth some of that. Found some tree breaks. Had some pictures of that, but there's also a lot of twists that I didn't take pictures of, just because didn't think it was necessary. But we'll be back in there, so we'll be able to check that out again. Uh-oh. We have lost sound.
Dave froze.
Dave, are you good?
Oh no,
I'm good.
I think the boss man's something's going on over there. Did you lose sound, Jerry?
Yeah.
You lost sound, Jerry. Yeah.
It's a mute thing. It's a mute thing. I apologize. Anyway, my question was, I will say the body of water this is near, but how far, when you get into like the areas where you found like most of your stuff, how far inland, so to speak, are you?
Oh, we're
Tip of the
on a
Chesapeake
peninsula,
Bay.
so not far from the water.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's close, but I was just curious. About
Yeah.
It's probably 3 miles.
it. Okay.
It's just funny
No, less than that.
where it is.
I was gonna.
You're sort of at the peak of the land, so you could go that way, hit water. You can go that way and hit water. Keep going and hit water.
Now,
Yeah.
Mikey, I know the other areas. How big is that section? Because I know that the park's 23,000 or something, 2,300.
Yeah, it's not that crazy, but it seems a lot bigger than it is when you're in there.
How big's the forest? What's it about?
I have a rollout map, but I've never
I didn't
actually.
even look it up.
Yeah, probably worth a Google.
I looked up the park, but I didn't look up the actual forest land.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can pull it up here.
Yeah, I've reserved not to say the park name or anything.
Yeah.
The park is called Hot Chick Named Steve.
There you go. It's an East Coast thing, David. Hang in there.
But don't Google that.
Yeah, don't Google that.
Yeah.
I'm Googling. Oh Lord.
You know how to do that, Jeff. I'm impressed.
We got a possible footprint too. I think it might have been one of those. I think it might have been one of those toe shoes. 'Cause after I conferred with Bob after our trip, I sent him a picture, and he thinks maybe it was one of the, the toe shoes, because you could see toes indented into the mud, but I don't know. It didn't have much gap between the toes, so it might have just been, like a shallow toe scoop toe shoe.
That is 3,571.
3,571 acres.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have pictures of the track and some other stuff we're going to be showing there.
4 separate tracts of land.
It's been a lot of years since I've been over there, and I looked at some of the photos today that Jeff sent over here. One intrigued me. It's like I never really gave it a thought how thick that area of land is over there. I was like, wow.
Interesting fact about that area, Jerry.
Mm-hmm.
Mikey, tell him what used to be there before the pines were planted. That area we found the tracks. That was all where you used to find all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That open sandy area along that.
Yeah, it used to be. So it used to be a natural dam. It used to be a natural, like a natural dammed creek, like beavers made a huge house out of that. And I've got pictures of what it used to look like, and they just reconstructed all of it. I mean, just ripped everything up and redid it.
Big ass rocks in there, and like they're trying to divert it, and then they just planted it all in pines.
Right.
Now there's a bunch of pine saplings in that spot.
Yeah, you used to be able to see all that open land. There's a big pile of pines too, and that was all gone, and it was just like a regular walking trail, but that's cut off now, and that's where the first ones were. And all that has changed.
It's a method to everybody's craziness, right? I'll leave it at that.
I wonder if too many people were seeing something at that picnic area.
Possibly.
And then they just decided it was time to put pine trees in there.
Yeah, a lot of people like parking their car there and riding their bike through the whole deal. and meeting
Well,
back.
you and I found those dirt bike tracks where no one's supposed to be dirt biking. So.
Right. Yeah, I've seen those tracks quite a few times. I haven't actually seen them ride or heard them ride, but I know, I'm looking at the ground the whole time.
So you've been back in there enough to know when stuff's disturbed or
Yeah.
Well, it's
Which
supposed to
shouldn't
be. No one's supposed to be in there on the weekends or Sunday, but it's still open. So
Right. Sometimes they'll shut the gate, but
most of the time it's open.
yeah.
You ever gotten locked in there?
No, luckily, no. Yeah, my excursions are only if I'm doing a big day and I'm by myself. I might be in there 3 hours at the most, but that's a big day.
Right. So it's basically a sun up to sundown kind of situation there. They close up at sundown.
Yeah.
I wish I could have made it over there Sunday with y'all, but I had a rough day Saturday.
You're tick and bite free. So.
Yeah. I was soaked the day before. Trust me, I mean soaked the whole way home for 2 hours, soaking wet.
Jerry was standing out in the middle of in the middle of filming when the rain started.
Actually, I was working. I was flagging, but another guy of mine was filming, but he had an umbrella. I didn't. I was soaking wet until I got to him and packing all that electronic equipment up. Here we are getting off the subject of cryptids again. But anyway, yeah, I got soaked. I mean soaked. But anyway, you just you want to go ahead and run through the photos and video and stuff.
Sure.
And, okay, we'll go ahead and add it. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to enlarge it full size and just let them have at it, and I'll stop it as we go along. Obviously, this I'm assuming is the drive-in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
How long is this particular road?
Feels like a mile.
It goes further than where we went on that.
Right.
There's different sections.
Okay, and I'll go from photo to photo and pause. You all talk about what you want to talk about there. So.
Well, that one we found, I wasn't real sure about it, but there's a break right there, if you can see. It looked like the other end was stuck in the ground. I'm not 100% sure what it was, but that was one of the things we saw. And that was in the second stop.
Yeah, this is where I got us lost.
Yeah, this is where we got lost at. Not far from where we found the
first nest.
Or the nest years ago.
I was trying to show them the identical nest 100 yards on the other side, and it's so overgrown now I couldn't find it, and I got us all mixed up.
So anybody can make of that what they want, but I'm not really sure either.
Yeah. There's some peculiar breaks the next shot for sure. But yeah, these tree structures, that's something.
Explain that, Mike.
So when I first entered this area, I was green and everything, and I wanted to see if I can get an interaction, and this was my interaction spot. So that's an old brick full of moss that never had moss on it when I started, and those rocks just happened to be around that area when I put this together, and I went, oh, they kind of look like toes. So I constructed those rocks just like they are there to make it look like a Bigfoot foot, so they know when I'm out there casting. And they've been fiddled with a few times.
Didn't you say they've taken rocks and sat them there too? Yeah,
like the bright white one would be knocked off, and then the two big ones would be, sort of switched around. And I have all this documented, but I have to dig them up. And the Mylar balloons that I would find, I would put above that brick.
Here we go with the balloons.
Yeah, we're going to see a couple of shots of the Mylar balloons. That's interesting. I'm thinking maybe carried from the dump or something, the nearby dump.
Yeah,
possibly. So,
yeah,
okay. We'll go ahead and continue on then.
but it's rare to have them inflated.
Now, I don't know why I took a picture of that. I just thought it was peculiar the way that piece of bark was chipped off of there.
Very fresh. That looked like maybe same day chip out of that.
Yeah, it just caught my eye for some reason. I'm not 100% sure why.
And this is near the balloon and egg.
That's the ribbon.
Yeah. That's actually how we found it.
Yeah.
And then there was the balloon about 8 feet, 10 feet from it. Where it kind of looks like a washout spot. You see all that fresh mud.
Yeah.
But the egg was completely clean, completely fresh looking. And it was just laying on top of all that soot with not a speck of dirt on it. It was wild.
This is one of the pictures that caught my eye. Yeah.
That's where they planted those pines.
Yes.
Yeah. The lay of the land, I'm like, wow, it's different.
Totally
than
different.
what I remember the place.
Yeah, that's a popular picnic table spot where there's a giant oak tree and there's a parking area, and they changed all that up. And this is where I got zapped or froze when I first went out there. I tried to get out of my car and I couldn't move.
Wow.
I just couldn't move a muscle. Just something grabbed me in thin air and I couldn't move my eyes. I couldn't breathe. I don't even know how long I was standing there. So I was going to open the back seat to get my flashlight, and then I just got stuck half pose going for the door handle. And then I heard a woodpecker in the distance, like 50 feet to my right, and then it just snapped me out of it. And I just continued like nothing happened. And I didn't even think about it in the moment until like a week later. I'm like, oh, that's weird.
That's crazy. Everybody want to give him a big old cooey. River Mars is in the house.
Ooh-wee.
Oi.
Okay.
That's
another
the same area.
What's that one?
They changed the rocks around, didn't it, Mike?
Oh, right. Yeah, it's a dry creek bed right now. I've never seen it all dried up. Creek bed right now.
Yeah, that was just something I took a picture of walking out. It's just give you an idea how thick that is there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something could be 5 feet into that and you couldn't see it.
Exactly. It's like when we hunted in Maine, you could have a moose that was 5 feet inside the tree line. Unless it moved, you weren't going to see it.
Yeah.
It's amazing how thick it is up in there.
Yeah, if you don't know where you're going.
There's the egg.
I mean, look how pristine that looks. It was sitting on top of the mud, washout, and there's not a thing of dirt on it. And it's a fresh break.
And it was
This
all
man's
broke
got-
from the outside.
Yeah. He's the egg expert. He raises these suckers and he knows.
The thing that struck me odd is I've seen plenty of like coons and stuff eat eggs, and they normally just completely destroy the shell.
Yes.
They don't open it up like that.
I've never once seen an egg back there at all.
Would you guys think that's like a turkey egg, or what kind of egg do you
It
think it
looked
is?
to me like either a turkey or maybe a large duck or extra large chicken. It's a pretty good size egg.
Pretty good size. Yeah.
Unfortunately, I stepped on it when I sat it down to pick up the balloon.
Well, I'm glad we got the shot. That's its original form there, where you could see the bigger section looked like 2 fingers went in to dig out whatever was in there, and then the backside's got a 1 finger. Yeah.
There might be another shot here yet. Nope. Now let's talk about this.
That was
Possible.
what we-
Possible print. You can
Oh,
see it kind of looks like a narrow bare foot with a squiggly toe.
Mm-hmm.
But-
You said you talked to Bob, and he think it could have been a toe shoe.
He thinks it could have been a toe shoe because of how no depth. There's no depth between the toes. It just sort of gouged out like a solid toe shaped would gouge it out because all the prints I have, there's gaps between the toes. I don't have any that are tight
Yours
like that.
is pretty wide and splayed out.
Right. So it was something, and there's definitely been prints found there, a lot. Just because that stays wet all year round.
Yeah, we haven't exactly had much rain to be doing anything with, so.
Yeah. I have my best one.
Approximately how long do you think that print is?
I'd say 12 inches. Maybe bigger.
The narrowness is what makes me doubt it.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, even the 7-inch print that we casted, it was like almost 6 inches wide at the toes. And then the heel was like 4.5 inches wide, and my heel's 12 inches. Or my foot is 12 inches, but my heel's only 3 inches wide.
Okay. Yeah, I can see the toes up there. It's kind of funny looking.
Yeah. And it didn't take like you could see it. You know, it's always easier to see it in person.
Oh, sure. Always looks better in person, obviously.
Right.
Okay.
Unless it's Tinder.
It looks like a good heel.
LiDAR. I know I need to do that.
What was that, David?
It looks like a good heel and like a mid-tarsal break.
Yeah, that's fascinating. And it was only one.
It's just the narrowness, unless something stepped like weird or something. I don't know.
It's hard to say. It was inconclusive, but closest thing we saw to a print.
We saw a few impressions in the ground, but there wasn't enough too hard.
Yeah.
To really tell anything.
I was really hoping to have good luck on the creek banks because it's almost every time I go out, there's always at least one set of tracks where it's crossing over. I check both sides of the creek bank, top of the creek to the bottom of the creek, and there's 2 tributaries, so I check both real close, and I usually find at least something.
It's just too dry.
Too dry.
This is like the first rain we've had in a while.
Yeah, of course, it's dry till the day you go out to look.
Yeah.
But now of course, you say this area is always damp, Mikey?
Well, the sections that I like to check.
Like this particular spot that this print's
always
made,
damp.
Always damp. Okay.
Always damp,
I was going to say, because if it was a dry situation and all of a sudden, bam, we got a damp spot with a footprint there, that's
True.
fresh. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
I think it was pretty fresh. And I didn't see any other. Did you see any other prints back there? Human? Maybe 1 or 2. Maybe. Like where the nest was, I saw one boot print that got my attention, but it was definitely a boot.
Right. Okay. Interesting. Who knows? You know, maybe it's the Aberdeen wild man swam across the way. I'm just kidding.
Bainbridge wild man's hungry.
Yeah, Bainbridge wild man. Who knows, right?
The water, the water. They could. Who knows? Right there on that peninsula.
That's a good question. I don't know because nobody's an expert. If they can actually really swim.
Yeah.
I wonder if you could just.
I've heard stories of it.
Me too, but how do you? It's hard. You can't confirm anything, but you know, it would be interesting if somebody had the footage. You know.
Yeah, I know.
Cool to know because. Yeah.
Somebody just posted a unique video where it looked like a log just casually floating upstream, and I'm like, this dude's like, why? What is that? It's floating upstream. If that's a log, it should be going with the water. And it looked a lot like a champagne-colored, big, cone-headed Bigfoot just pushing through the waves, like maybe, 80 yards out. And he zoomed in on it. It was pretty fascinating. I think I shared it on the Facebook group page, Cecil County Sasquatch group.
I'll have to check into that. Okay.
Yeah, take a look at that. But all of our evidence is on the Cecil County Sasquatch group. If you guys are interested watching. Just it's a private group, so I don't get a bunch of yahoos on there.
Yeah, smart move.
we had a couple people upload a bunch of just bushes and like a million circles on every random shot. I'm like, come on, man. Let's get real. That's a lot of pareidolia. But that there was a good twist. That was by the egg, by the balloon.
Yeah, doggone it. Got away from it.
Yeah.
Let me back it up just a little bit. Right
And
there.
that's technically where I couldn't find the second nest. It's in that same area. And there's a baby blanket in that nest. I wish I found it. Next time I go back, I'll have to pay attention where I go in, because usually it's a straight shot.
Now, Jeff, you were telling me before we got on here that you didn't take pictures of all the breaks back down through there. How, in relation to this particular one, you shot the photo of, about the other ones? Are they nearby, pretty nearby, or?
A lot of them were in that same general area.
Yeah. Yeah, that tends to happen too. Every individual area that I find prints or check, there's a lot of these breaks where it's like, it seems like maybe a territory thing, or maybe like a landmark for them. I don't know why they would do that, but it's consistent back there.
Yeah, there was quite a few of them. I just didn't take pictures of all of them.
Of course, there's another balloon, I guess, or maybe the same one from
Same balloon, yeah.
But anyway, yeah, it's pretty cool
You
stuff.
found a lot of balloons, haven't you, Mike?
Too many to count. If I went back and looked, it'd probably be 50.
It's crazy. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just some schools in the area and stuff, but I'm sure it's dump related. I'm sure
It's got to be dump related, because he's got reports of stuff happening at the dump.
Yes, the workers are getting sick and tired of the lunchbox Brock Lesnar hands ripping up their fence. They're like, I don't know what the hell keeps doing this, but they're not stealing. There's no tire marks. There's,
Yeah, because
welcome.
Somebody's got a miniature excavator. They're just going over there and lifting not leaving any tracks.
Right. A hovering excavator.
Yeah, right. That's interesting. Speaking of hovering, any other kind of reports over there that you're aware of, Mikey? Okay, let's dig into that for a few minutes.
There was a retired judge that jogs back there for his leisure time, and he and his grandson or son were back there one day, and I think it was close to wintertime because there was ice. And this was before they rearranged that dam area. And as they were just doing their regular walks, they saw these giant impressions on the bank, and then you could see these punch holes every 7 feet right across the iced over pond, where this thing was just punching its feet through the ice and just walking right across it. It's gotta be like 6 feet of water.
Interesting.
That's interesting.
And then a friend of mine had a eyewitness sighting a ton of years ago, driving late at night or early in the morning, however you want to say it. And she saw something upright, and this is on a road connected to the entire deal. And saw something just within 3 steps come out of the woods, go through the middle of the road, and just keep going. And when I went to investigate that area, I found stuff, and paranormal was attached to it. It was odd.
It's crazy.
So the very first time we checked that, we did a checkup on that sighting. We saw a stick structure, and it was just like tons of pretty big limbs, just like going from base to top, leaning like a big leaning blind. And I had my arm up on the branch, and I had Bob take a picture of me as I was sitting, standing next to it. And he jumps back and he's freaking out, like, whoa, what was that? Something just came at me, went through me. And I'm like, what's this dude talking about? So I go up to him.
You told me about that the other day we were out there.
I got to find that picture and send it to you. It's on the group page, but he shows me the picture. He freaks out again, just as bad. He's look at this. What is this? And you could see this, I don't know, about that size, this light anomaly just doing like a loop right towards his face. And he didn't see it in the moment, but he felt something go through him. So he freaked out. He had goosebumps. He had nightmares that night. And he dreamt about Bigfoot that night. And he was shooken up for a couple of days. I thought that was pretty unique. I mean, I've never had anything like that happen besides being frozen in place. But There was another one as one of the guys that worked in that park. He had a sighting just like the girl had one. She saw this thing upright starting to come out of the woods. And as soon as they made eye contact with each other, it stopped and it spun in its own tracks and just went right back to where it came from. And the guy blinked his eyes and it was gone that fast. And he's getting ready to retire. He didn't want to, put himself out there like that. He had nothing to gain from it. So he told the guy I know who introduced me to all this. And I went there straight away. And I found the spot he was talking about. There were impressions by the road and they spun. You could see the toes kick out 180 and go straight back into the woods, or where there were broken limbs or something big shot through the woods. It all added up. So everything I've investigated, it's backed up and it's all been pretty much confirmed as far as I'm concerned, what I've seen. So neighbors have heard loud, drunk, deep voices like prowlers, and the cops can't find anything. But there's been a lot of stuff. Hunters get a specific freaked out feeling when they hunt that part of the park. They're like, man, I don't know, some big black bear just stood up and ran away. Really coordinated bear. I don't think that was a bear.
Yeah, David knows all about that.
Yeah, we can definitely. Being on the West Coast, I'm sure he is more than skilled at watching bear versus what could be.
Yeah,
What state are you in?
bear running
I'm not
on
coordinated.
is a joke.
No.
What state?
Yeah.
Where do you live?
I live in Oregon.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So you live where
West
Cliff Barrisman is.
Coast. What's
Yeah.
that, Mike?
I've been in Northern California. I went to Old Sacramento, checked out the area. It was pretty cool. It's huge.
Yeah. I lived in Northern California. That's actually where I grew up and was born. Actually, near the Patterson-Gimlin area is where I grew up, and been living in
Nice.
Oregon for like 20 years now.
They're still having sightings over there. Bluff Creek,
Yep.
NK Davis.
I just read something a couple days ago that there's some activity going on over there at Bluff Creek right now.
yeah.
I mean, that's the first I've seen anything spoken recently of something actually going on there again. That's cool.
It's a crazy wild area. I mean, you guys talk about like, 3,000 acres or something like that, or 4,000.
Right.
We're talking like 300,000 acres type stuff.
Needle in a haystack.
Huge areas.
Yeah, you guys got all the big stuff.
No,
You know,
not everything, Jeff.
got all the big ground.
Yeah, definitely. Beautiful country.
It's
Sure.
beautiful.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely. Yeah, we have minute. I won't say minute. We have some great areas here. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to step out and say it, that this area is just as prime. Anywhere from here up into Pennsylvania, down wherever, everywhere.
Yep.
Michaud State Forest. Mary's in here, and I know she was talking about having a rendezvous there at the Michaud State Forest in Adams County, Pennsylvania, or Franklin County, Pennsylvania as well. That area, I know another person that we were talking about earlier did a lot of hiking out through there and caught some incredible tree structures. I mean, it's crazy.
Michelle's
get a hold
got
of
a
him.
lot of stories.
Yes, it does.
And that's
Yes, it
right
does.
there by Gettysburg.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of stories out of Gettysburg, but there's a lot of ghost stories, and that's right after the C word happened of 2020, we really just started going to Gettysburg like every weekend, just taking a drive and going out. It's only an hour and 40 minutes from here to get to Gettysburg, and
Yeah, I know some pretty good ghost stories about
pretty cool
that,
stuff. Yeah,
but
she took her niece out there, and they had some interaction stuff happening. Not
That's
nothing
sweet.
like creepy, crazy, but ghostly. Yeah, it goes on there. It happens. What you got in your hands there, Mike? You caught my attention.
Yeah, I was seeing that too.
Oh, nothing.
Yeah, right. Come on, there's a story. There's got to be a story to this. There you go.
This is a copy of the Cripplefoot Bigfoot
Yeah.
track.
Mhm.
Will Jebning sent me this and a copy of the Patterson-Gimlin footprint, and I couldn't believe the size difference between the Patterson footprint and my footprints, I mean, Patty's like a little baby compared to this thing. 20 inches is what I have.
Wow.
And then this thing's pretty large too. This is pretty on par to what I've casted. But I don't know the story about this. I heard that it came out as a hoax, or
Where
I
did
don't
the
know.
cripple foot cast come from? I can't remember.
Down south somewhere. Arkansas or one of
Was
those
that
places.
Falk?
Maybe
Was
it is,
Falk with
perhaps.
the cripple foot?
I think so,
Could
but
be. I
this is
don't
really
remember.
neat. You can see how they highlighted the metatarsal bones and everything in here. How the you know, the center of the leg bone would be here, and the mid-tarsal break right here. It's really cool. Yeah, I still owe Will Jebning a bunch of casts that I promised him, because he sent me all this cool stuff, and he's still
That's
waiting for me. And he sent me a two autographed copies of his books. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I
So-
haven't listened to him in a long time.
50 years in the business.
Wow.
Literature is important too.
Yeah.
Is that cast from like the one they have a video or a show on where you can see
Yeah.
it kind of? That's from that actual video.
Well, I don't know if there is a video connected to this print. I'm really not sure about that, but look up Cripplefoot, and I think it'll give you the deets on it.
Okay,
But,
I'll look that up.
Have you seen
I'm
any of my
trying to
casts?
remember what Bigfoot that was linked to.
I'll go dig up some of my casts in case there's some new people that didn't see them. I'll be right back.
Yeah, bring them. And
Nice.
the word deets for us, for the old timers, means details. That's the new half version of
Is that what
details.
that
It's called deets. I started hearing that a couple RV couples we watch from time to time would use the word deets, and I'm thinking, what? I thought they were saying beats at first, but it's deets, details. I finally
Gotcha.
sunk in. Again, old timer, but anyway.
Just
So what's
kicked the
funny
water
is that
Dang it.
that cast looks like there was an older, I don't know if it was a movie. I can't remember if it was like an old movie or documentary. And they showed like this crippled one kind of walking all funny and its leg was all messed up and stuff.
I think that's it, because this is the other side. I forgot he sent me this one too. So this is the other side of the cripple foot.
Okay.
So this one looks pretty standard.
Perfect.
So I'll put them both together for you guys here.
How
So-
large were they? Or what size are they? Mike?
Oh, these got to be 20 inches.
Okay,
I got a tape somewhere, but
that's fine.
yeah, that's pretty odd looking. And I
Yeah.
think they took a bunch of them.
It's
Hold on
kind
a
of
second.
interesting that right foot or the one on the right seemed longer than the other one, like it stunted the growth of it.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah, good point. Good point. You're
And the
right.
curves as well. You see the left
Yeah.
one has that curve.
Yeah,
It would make sense.
that looks good to me.
Yeah. So I'll show you this one compared to the one I casted, one of my best ones. Well, let me show you. Here's a really good toe impression where you got fingerprint detail.
Mm.
So if you just saw this looking down on it and there was no heel, I did get a heel too. But
You'd almost think it was a bear.
yeah, exactly. But the toe definition is what gives it away to make it think that it's not a bear, because you don't see
No.
bears with different size.
Totally
toe
different.
size.
Yeah,
Bears have even toes, you know,
yeah.
and these you can tell
Mhm.
there's a gradual difference as far as it goes down.
I have to say that my favorite one's that one you got where it's curled over the bank.
Oh yeah, yeah. Here's one of the little guys. So that is like the same size as my foot, but look how wide that is.
Yeah,
That's a great cast.
just the
That's a-
digits. Look how fat the digits are too.
Oh yeah, this thing is
That's
it's a pretty
awesome.
one. And we
That's-
have one of the best casts we ever have of the 20-incher is owned by Bob. He took the best because he was the one down there sweating and casting. But this is full definition of every inch of the creature's foot, so every bit of it was captured. And these went on for a quarter mile. We just ran out of casting material. Went through like 4 boxes of plaster of Paris trying to get them all. Look at the size of this big toe. I'm going to pull that up real quick. So look, this broke off, but that's a
Huge.
big toe.
Yeah, it is.
And then
Wow.
here's its buddy. So that's from the 20-inch foot.
Wow.
I got 8-inch hands. And I mean, look at the difference. I mean, it's huge. When you come up on something like that in the woods, it's freaky. You're like, man, this thing could stomp my head in.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, it
Wow.
left perfect impressions. I think my cat ruined these. I bet you he jumped on these and busted them all up.
Yeah, them stinking cats. I'm going to hear about that too. So.
25-pounder.
Oh my goodness. I got one that's 18-1, but not 20.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
Woo.
He's hard to handle when he's wound up.
Yeah, I bet.
All right, let me go get the big boys now.
There's more. What do you think about that, Jeffrey? Huh?
Yeah, that's some impressive stuff.
Absolutely.
Not to mention the fact of where it was.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That one he's gonna bring back out that's got the definition of the toes curling over the bank is probably my favorite one.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. So this one, I casted myself, and I believe it's 16 inches. So either this is a big male, but not the biggest male, or it's the biggest female. Because Patty only had what, 13.5-inch feet, and they estimate her at maybe 8 feet, 7 feet, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So 16-inch foot would mean closer to 9 feet tall, you'd think. And then the
Yeah,
big
18, 20 inch, that's a pretty big boy.
Yeah, that's man,
20
that's a big one. Wow.
So I showed you the 16, and these two are hanging out.
Wow.
16 inches, 20 inches. And I showed Jeff where I casted this at.
And that's
Pretty good
where they
shape.
changed everything.
Dude, that is getting very close to home. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is definitely neither of those are neither one of them are double step bears, man. There's no doubt.
No. Look, this thing
no way.
stomped my torso. Look at that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
You would know about that, David. You're the bear man.
Man, I've seen thousands of tracks, and you can tell. I mean, I can see online on YouTube and stuff. It's like, man, those
I've
are
seen plenty of double steps that people are like, "Oh, that's a Bigfoot." I said,
those look totally different.
Now, this is my favorite one.
So I tracked this one hunting a deer, and the tracks end where this thing digs into the dirt. So this is the foot that pivoted and probably got a hold of that deer, and then it went up a cliff.
See where it put its toes down further into the mud.
Wow. Like the toes are curled.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he had to get grip to launch
Uh-huh.
at that critter. So I'm trying to
That's
get
a
the
great cast, man.
Fantastic.
You found that on a bank, wasn't it?
Yeah, I tracked this thing. I found 2 of its trackways. So the very first one I came up on, he was probably chasing the first set of deer and didn't get them because he went up a cliff, like up a hill where I never go, and then I lost the tracks. But he was going for it here. And then I went to the right, and I picked up tracks again, like it circled around. And or it did the right tracking up through, snaking through the river straight through it. And then I found the kill zone, and then it dragged it back and went up where I saw it first. So I don't know which order it was, but yeah. And then here's a little one that's really cool. Look at this little guy. This is probably the most definition I have as far as the 12-inch. This camera's like giving me opposite view.
Yeah.
But
You
See
can
that
see a
heel?
lot of definition in there.
Yeah, look at the curving, and like it curves,
Yeah.
and you can see all the. This one was beautiful.
That's how you can tell that it's not fake because it would look too uniformed.
Right. And it would be way skinnier. I mean,
Yeah,
and I get
that's pretty
differences.
thick.
Yeah. I get differences. Like, for instance, this is my foot, like I said, about 12 inches.
Yeah,
And then that's that one. It's so much wider.
yeah.
No, definite difference. Yeah.
Now,
Show you
have you
show
ever
you the hair
measured
sample.
depth?
Blue-eyed Northern wants to know what you're casting with. I believe you said plaster of Paris.
Plaster of Paris, the red box, red and white box, plaster of Paris.
He bought all the plaster of Paris in the Walmart.
Yeah, I made him go to the back and find more. I'm like, 2 boxes isn't going to cut it. We got a quarter mile of prints. Go.
Yeah, I've been in that Walmart many a day. I know which
Yeah.
one you're going to.
Yeah, you
Let me
ain't gonna
see
find
here.
much of that Walmart. They're half asleep at that place.
Yeah,
So
a little
this
different.
is a Bigfoot dingleberry.
I remember you
Trying
brought
to
this
get
out last time.
Yeah. Trying to get a good shot here. You see it on the stem of the leaf,
Yeah, it's very clear. You can see it. Yep.
and it changes colors. Like inside it looks black, but you take it outside, it goes see-through. You can't even see it. I mean, that's pretty unique to find hair that changes color in the sun. And it would make sense, these things, why they blend so well
Yeah.
if they have translucent hair.
Yep.
But so yeah, that's pretty much my stash. Trying to think what else.
That's
I
an
have.
awesome stash.
Yeah.
Do you use dental?
Great.
Mary's got a quite monkey. Well, Mary. Baby.
You,
Do you use dental stone also?
do I use what?
Dental stone.
Dental stone? No, I don't even know what that is. So I wanted to show you this comparison. Patty is here. This is Patty. And then this is my 20-inch. That's quite a difference.
Definitely. Yeah. Can't imagine the height difference in that. Wow.
Oh, I know. That thing would eat Patty for breakfast.
Wow.
But thank you, Will Jebning, for that, Patty. So, and I marked them because I can be a bit forgetful. So this one was taken 2/6/2020.
Okay.
So I was wearing a mask. No, I wasn't.
And interesting enough, that's in the cold of winter here in February. So
Now, how many of those tracks did you take in 2020?
I don't even know.
You guys find a lot more stuff around that time?
Yeah, so here's what had happened. I had gotten so many casts of all different sizes, and I just kind of went to documenting with the phone, and I could go back and look how many track ways and when I found them, just checking with my history. Because I kind of got lazy, like, man, how many casts do I need? I have a example of every size and every, position of the wood. And so I just quit casting. I mean, if I'm with one of you guys and we see a track, we're casting. But if I'm on I just sort of take pictures and go from there.
You found one a couple weeks ago, and you didn't even do anything with it because it was.
Yeah, I just took a picture of it. Yeah, it's on the site. I could pull that up real quick, but yeah, it's so I still document and everything, but a lot of times I'm so far away from the car that, if I go back to the car, bring all my material, dump it in the ground, wait an hour, 2 hours for it to dry, it's kind of not worth the hassle.
Yeah.
And my sighting,
dental stone is less prone to crack and break. Amazon 5 pounds is $11. Little shout out to Amazon.
I might have to keep some of that in the truck for when I go.
sounds cheaper than having the dentist fix these. Maybe I'll.
And the game warden's gonna wonder what the hell I'm doing with this 5 pounds of dental stone in the middle.
Yeah, where's the body, bud?
Billy.
There's Billy Schilling. Hi, Billy.
Great
He's after Blalack. Look out. Shots fired.
Look out, Billy. I love Billy. He's a good man.
Yeah, absolutely. Crazy stuff, man. Cecil County, right across the river from us, man. That's awesome.
Pretty cool.
You just pull into there, and I'm thinking the entire time I'm driving in there to meet up with him, and I'm like, I am driving right through the middle of town, and I'm like,
yeah.
And then it's right there, and it goes out. That I'm like, what in the?
Yeah.
For sure.
It
I
is.
thought be taking a ride over there here very soon.
It is thick. I mean, you like Mark Green and I were talking. He's like, it looks just like Alabama. You get off in there. I mean, it is. It's boogery. That's all I can say about it. It's.
You guys aren't going to be able to see this very well, but this is the print.
There you go, right there.
Yep. I see it. Yep.
So that was the possible.
Wow.
Yeah, definite. Looks like some toe definition, but hard to say. And then here's when we casted all those 8 or 20-inch prints. That was the scenery. That was D-Day for us.
There.
There's the 4 boxes. No, we haven't been here yet. This is the.
Oh, that's the Arboretum.
Yeah, this is the big boy.
Okay.
But you could just see the size.
All right.
And look at the step length. So you got one, missed one here, another one there, jumps over that, and it just keeps going on the bank all the way through, punching through ice.
So that's the place we didn't make it to before the rain.
Yep. Yeah, so that's technically there's 2 more areas, but if we go to that one, we'll probably just stay there all day. It's big.
It's that.
Yeah, obviously it's a place of high interest.
Oh yeah, yep. That's where I got the.
There's actually been you know that you told me there's stuff in the park too that people have found.
Right, and actually in this Arboretum section is where it made its own blind, and it made it in a choke point where there's just like big hills on either side, and he's right in the middle of the base. So if anything's coming around that area, he could just cut them right off. Or there's a 6-foot creek bank, so he can see anything coming through that creek and just jump them. And we found footprints in that blind, leaving the blind, going through the creek, everything. So you don't get much better than that.
Yeah, I got to get the cameras loaded up from over there.
That's a perfect ambush, man.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect. Because you don't see it from up top where like the normal people, the normies go, and they just do their little loop, and then they leave. Like if they didn't, so the guy who introduced me to this area, he and his wife stumbled upon it. He saw this giant X-shaped tree structure, and he's like, "That's interesting. I'm going to go take a look." And as he went towards it, he ended up at that bank, and he's like, "Whoa!" And he found all those footprints in the creek. And then he called me, and I was stuck at work. It was a Saturday, and Bob and them went and started casting. So yeah, that's some of the best prints we ever made.
That's awesome. That's all I like to say. I just keep using the word awesome because it's who would ever guess it's so close to home here, and after what I may have just ran into. So
do you have the video of my sighting? Well, I guess you couldn't hear it
up there, but if you understood how it is around here to find something like that, it's insane.
Yeah, that's awesome. Look at that, man.
There's the butte. That's the best print we ever casted. 20 inches.
Indeed. That's a big boy. That's a big boy.
And then this is what they look like coming out of the ground.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow. Well, let me shoot it this way.
There you go.
No good.
It got smaller.
Yeah, I blew it.
You can see it though. Those were great prints.
Yeah,
man.
You bet.
One of these has my name on it, but I haven't gotten it yet.
Okay.
I kind of got the short end of the stick because I wasn't involved. I was bummed.
Wow. Those are
You
great.
you weren't in on that casting?
No, and these are all consistent. So if somebody's got some fake stompers, they didn't leave any other footprints. They're wearing these big 20-inch fake feet, jumping 6 to 10 feet at a time for a quarter mile through the creek. It's pretty slick. It's an athletic fella.
Yeah, I'm 6'2". I couldn't get through a creek like that without falling over or something.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, and it's
Yeah.
freezing cold.
It's insane. Yes.
I'm the little guy of the bunch. I ain't gonna be no Bob Heronius or anything like that.
Yeah,
But are you taller than Spencer?
Everybody is. Oh,
I'm sure I'll get my ceremonial Spencer, you know what message.
yeah.
We'll leave it at that.
He's probably asleep.
Could be. But yeah, that's awesome though. We still haven't touched a whole lot of paranormal. I know you got more to talk about. For sure from over the way. So
Yeah, I got some interesting stories.
you froze up on us there a little
So I guess we'll pick this up.
bit. Oops. There we go. Now you're back.
So I was always infatuated with the ghost stuff, and even when what year was that? First Ghost Adventures was like 05 maybe, or 04, whenever that came out. I was like, this is pretty cool, and picked up a lot of techniques they would use, and I was fascinated. Like, hey, I'm going to try and see if I could find a haunted place and check it out. My first spot, I went to Delaware City, where I lived for a couple months with a buddy of mine, Ryan. And we went and checked out. It was like an old abandoned, kind of like a Bainbridge, where there's like an old abandoned military deal back there. And we didn't get much of anything, but it was neat. So that was my first, bounce into the whole thing. And then I thought, well, there's another spot near me I'd like to check out, and that's called Holly Hall. Very illegal to go inside of this building. So I was given permission to go in there. And they broke down the door for us, and I went in there, and I had my friends, and I got an interesting picture. We went to the basement, and I knew the whole backstory. I mean, this family was cursed. I mean, it was just a terrible past, and just couldn't catch a break, this family. And the woman, or the daughter, maybe, I think the daughter, they thought she was dead from Thai fever or whatever. And so they had their own burial plots back then. So they had this poor family member in this casket in the basement, like in a crypt. And she had a little dog, and the little dog was obsessed with this girl after she passed. And apparently she wasn't dead yet, because I guess the little dog scratched until its little paws were bleeding at the brick base of where the crypt is. Like, they bricked it off, and you can still see the claw marks of this dog trying to get into this crypt. And anyway, I guess they're still buried back there. I mean, I haven't been back there, obviously, but it's trippy. So I asked for that female spirit to take a picture with my friend's girlfriend, who was sitting on the bulkhead of the basement. And I'm like counting it down, like, all right, I'm going to take your picture. I'm going to count to 3, 1, 2, 3, and took the picture. And this was just like a regular, whatever was popular in 2007 or 8, with a Panasonic flash digital. And the batteries died right after I took the picture. So I had extra batteries, and I threw them in, and I loaded the picture, and I looked. I'm like, what the hell is that? And you could see an orb. I showed Jeff the picture. There's definitely an orb, and it's not even an orb. It's just more like a triangular shaped light anomaly right where I asked it to take a picture. And I snapped another picture after it fired back up, and I showed them that picture. Same exact position, and nothing, I couldn't duplicate it. So I thought that was cool. And I had a recorder going at the same time, and you can hear a female go like
The wolf whistle,
you see a good looking guy or whatever, you whistle. It's perfect. I'm like, did you guys whistle? Nobody whistled. Anyway, so that was the whole thing there. And I told my brother about it, and he was interested, and he and I went back in there. And again, I got a weird orb picture, around the crypt in the basement, and I got the exact same whistle.
There he is.
That's pretty wild.
crazy.
That's crazy. It's interesting you say it's triangulated, or it was a
Yeah.
triangle instead of
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
a round orb.
Yeah, it
What if it has
was,
a meaning?
I showed Jeff the picture. You remember seeing that picture?
I think you showed it to me while we were out there the other day.
Yeah. It's on this phone. I can't pull it up, but yeah, it's wild.
Yeah, I think I wonder what kind of meaning it has. That's interesting.
I had another interesting thing happen when my son was he probably
Oh,
was,
you told me about this.
yeah, just about 18 months, 16 months. He was young, wasn't talking yet, and he kept getting fevers, and maybe he was cutting teeth or something, but he just kept getting a high temperature, and we'd take him to the doctor and check him out and everything. And he was just sitting on the edge of the bed eating a Tamiflu, or the what are those called? Like the Tamiflu ice pop.
Yeah.
So I thought it was cute, and I'm taking a video on the edge of my bed, filming him eat this thing, and I see a light anomaly about the size of like a pen just go shoot right into his nose, right in front of my face. So I saw it in real time, and I wasn't sure if I got it on camera. And so anyway, I stopped the camera, and I'm like, what the heck was that? And then I review, and then I could see it in the video, this light shooting into him. And I'm like, whoa, that's weird. And he was fine within hours. His temperature went away. He wasn't sick anymore. So maybe it was a good spirit, maybe my grandfather or a friend who passed away around that time. Who knows? But that's pretty wild.
Yeah, but your in-laws thought it was the devil.
Yeah. The kin of the baby was like, you delete that video. I'm like, oh God. Anyway.
How about that?
And I used to have a dream. I was adopted when I was, I guess I was 1. My brother was 2. My other brother was 3. We're all biological brothers. They didn't have any other kids, but they didn't treat us the best. And the state had to keep getting involved. And finally they, had us in a foster home. And I guess they weren't the best people. And finally we were adopted by the family I grew up with and raised us, whatever. And I, like always as a kid, I used to have the same nightmare over and over and over and over. Like it never quit. And it was a witch, like a redheaded witch. Like, and I would always be led into this tent where there was like a cauldron, and then it always stopped right there. I'd go into the tent, I'd see the cauldron, and then the dream would be over. And nothing ever happened, but it just kept having this recurring dream. And I always thought about that. Like, I don't really watch scary movies. I mean, I did the Chucky movies and all that kind of stuff, but nothing really with witches or anything. I always thought that was odd. And then when I became an adult, I was 16 and I met my biological family for the first time. My mother proclaims to be Wiccan and says she's a witch, and she would be in my dreams. Wow. I was like, what? Like, it all made sense that day. And I was just like, there might be something to that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Somebody reaching out to you for sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that friend who passed away, it was a tragic car accident. Absolutely horrific, but he passed away and really just tore everybody and all of our friends up and everything. And it was a lot. And the first time I visited his gravesite, it was me, my wife, and my son. And she went to take a picture of me, and my son leaned over like this at the gravestone. And out of nowhere, she's like, what is this? Oh, I'm taking a video, but what is this? And she meant to take a picture, but she took video. And you could see in this video a perfect outline between me and my son of a man that looked like my friend in between us.
Wow.
And before she even brought that up, we were loading my son back in the car. And Blair's like, what are you seeing? What are you seeing? My wife was saying, what are you seeing? And Henry, my son, could barely talk. He's like, I see Uncle Sean flapping his wings in the trees, like pointing behind her. Like he sees an angel with wings behind. I'm just like, what? He said that? And, you want him to repeat it, but he doesn't know, pretty wild. And then I saw the video and I'm like, there's got to be something to that. That's pretty paranormal.
Absolutely, yeah. River Morris, how are you, buddy?
You there, River?
It's there's quite a delay.
It's that Australian HughesNet.
How's that Aussie sun these days?
He's driving.
He's
I don't
busy
think we can
typing.
hear.
I don't know if he can hear us or.
He's
He's
good.
he does some radio shows himself over there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I feel like I know the name. Well, see you later.
His internet isn't the best.
He has some problems.
It's all good.
Like
Mr.
when you
Blalack.
get on,
Yeah.
it's a
I heard my name.
Yeah. I don't want to cut anybody off, but David, tell us a little bit about some of your little adventures here and there. I won't say little. I shouldn't use the word little, but your experiences, real.
So, probably everybody heard my one where in 2019 here, where we were elk hunting, and we had like 9 days we were camping out, and each day something happened. But I'll tell you one from Northern California. So this was as the crow flies, probably like 75 miles south of where Patterson Gilman film happened. We lived on this road. It was probably a mile, maybe 2 miles up this red dirt road. You kind of had a 4x to get up there. We lived in a mobile home. It was the only place on there. Total wilderness behind us. And so the first thing that happened was my brother, Charlie, who was 7 years older than me. I was probably, so I know for a fact it turned from 1979 to 1980 while we lived there. I know it's a long time ago, but it's all perfectly clear in our minds. I just remember my brother coming in and just like, Mom, I found this huge track. And we're like, all of us kids, there's 7 or 6 of us kids, and he's the oldest. There's 3 boys, 3 girls. And he just came in. He had that look on his face like, Mom, I found the hugest track. He must have been about 16 at the time. I was probably like 8 or 9 years old at the time. And my mom was like, Charlie, it was probably just a bear. And he's like, no, Mom, it was huge. And he's doing like 2 foot footprints. And so we all kind of wrote it off, and just went on. And this place was like a really weird house. It was a double wide mobile home. The one end was like on the ground, and the back end was up on these blocks, like cement blocks.
Yeah.
And the one room was so weird. My dad literally took a chain, like drilled a hole through the door jamb and chained the door shut on this bedroom, which is kind of weird. But I mean, we'd see like stuff like the vacuum cleaner cord snaking across the floor type stuff. I mean, like haunted stuff.
Poltergeist.
So we would be at night, we would just hear these screamings. I hope River comes in.
He's here.
Portal.
He's here.
All right.
Can we hear you, River?
Maybe.
River?
He's out.
Hey, River. Speak, River.
Hey, Jerry, is there a way just to have him on audio? I mean, on video, on just audio and not video?
He would have to turn his camera off. I might be able to do it here. He can just do audio.
Because when we talk, we can talk fine on audio, but the video messes up.
Every time he's on video, there's a problem.
Yep.
Well,
Yep.
Yeah, he'll have to turn when he comes in to just turn his camera off. Or I could do it. I don't want to upset him if I turn his camera off, but it might help him. He's trying.
He's trying.
He's trying. Can you hear us now, River? Yeah. I don't think he's having much luck.
Yeah, I can hear you.
There we go.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah. Yeah.
Hi.
We
How
can
you
hear
doing,
you.
brother?
Barney Bunya. Good to see you, bro.
Where'd you go? Uh-oh. We might
He's
have
got
guess
his
my
winter
kids
clothes
will.
on.
It's really delayed. It's really delayed.
that Australian internet.
Yeah.
He can't
He's
hear
back.
us.
It's there.
That's all.
River, do you want to try
River,
just
turn
audio?
your camera off.
Just turn your camera off, River, and just use your audio. It might pick you up faster. You maybe try that.
That Australian internet.
That's a good question. That's a good question. Greg, I'd say it's probably the video feed. It really is massive
Yeah.
and takes a lot of
Yeah,
space.
because every time we do it, as I like to refer to an after-hours show, nothing's wrong with River's stuff, but as soon as he tries to come on, tries to be civilized, he's
If he turned his camera off, he would probably be a lot faster. It would work a lot
Yeah.
better.
If I get my didgeridoo, I can lure him back.
he's got one. And Blalack's got one over there too. He's got a didgeridoo.
I haven't brought a Bigfoot yet. I did it in the Poconos, but nothing happened.
Oh boy.
There's the mini didgeridoo he sent me.
Nice.
Rivers claims he's called them in with his before.
It doesn't surprise me.
David, have you ever tried playing it out there in the?
Only in the Poconos. I keep forgetting to bring it with me, and they might think it's a bong if the cops see me.
Just be like that stuff.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, David's going to be out there in the middle of the night, bottle of Fireball and a didgeridoo, trying to call in the.
You know me way too well, Jeff.
You have
The
fun
only
with that.
problem is you're going to have to use that 4570 that's on the rack if something comes to the house.
Yep, the 500 on the side.
Yeah.
There we go. Come on, River.
Well, he came with the camera again.
I think my past life I was Australian. I have such a pull to that country.
Me too. Me too.
New Zealand, Australia. I love all those places.
Yeah, Prince of Wales, all those good areas.
And my genetics are like Iceland and the Balkans, and so maybe that's my draw. Is I just like
How old are you, Mike?
38.
38. Gotcha.
I was born in 85 when cocaine was cool.
Okay, you're answering him. I was going to bring it up. That's fine. Nope. Smart move.
Nope.
Not yet, anyway, right?
All I do is blow spit.
Hey,
Gotta keep
Hey.
on teaching my 13-year-old how to play.
River's talking. Yes, sir, Mr. River.
hey, how you going?
Oh, hey,
Good. How are you?
Still there, River. Man, that thing is so delayed. It's terrible.
Yeah.
I love that guy. He's such a good guy.
I
Yeah.
It's not going to work with that camera
I
on.
still can't figure out how he managed to do that interview with Spencer because nothing ever works whenever he must have went to a different like town or something. Or it's somebody else's internet.
What part of Australia?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. He's original
That's crazy to
Aborigine,
think.
right? Or whatever. Aborigine.
Yeah, Greg wants to know
Is
when
he?
you're going to play Freebird on that thing, David.
I can tell. Look, I just accidentally hit freaking enter. I'm on my granddaughter's computer, so everything's different. I was gonna say only given the bird, but not free bird.
Oh.
Yeah, I had to make my own didgeridoo. My good designed one is in the Poconos. I left it there for the family to play while they, take their summer vacations there. Has a nice carrying case and everything.
Nice.
But I made one out of PVC pipe here.
PVC, is that what it's made out of?
The one I have here, yeah.
Nice. They have
Yeah.
great tone, man. I've watched videos on that.
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah. Teaching my 13-year-old how to play all the instruments. I taught him guitar, keyboard, what else? Drums. He's pretty gifted musically. I don't know if he's going to stick to anything. Got him into jiu-jitsu 2 years ago. He liked that.
Wow.
It's hard to, these days it's hard to get your kid into something that is away from the phone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But he's trying.
Damn near impossible.
Yeah, he wants one of the electric dirt bikes, but it's scaring me. Like, those things are wicked fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's more like the electric
Yeah,
one.
it's just electric. If I had a son, I'd be like, hey, well, I do have sons, but not my biological. But if they would have been like small, I'd be like, hey, jump on this thing, try it.
So, friendship.
See how fast they go. Ah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
How many stepsons do you have, David?
I didn't hear.
How many sons do you have?
I have
Stepkid.
two that are Dee but they're mine, but they're Dee
Yeah, yeah.
Their dad was Alaska
Those
Native.
Sullivan of each.
Mhm.
Southeast Australia.
I'm fascinated by Alaskan natives and indigenous people in the Australian. That's so neat. And they all look similar. The indigenous
They
people
do.
from like Brazil, Mexico, Ecuador, all of them.
Asians can tell that River is an original Australian.
Yeah. Well, they were all prisoners.
Yep.
David and I were having that conversation with him again last night.
They're the bad boy country for real.
Yep.
Poor River's 62 years old, and they still ask him how long he's been an Aboriginal.
Isn't that crazy?
My whole life,
that's
probably.
something you just
His
pick
whole
up
life.
along the way.
Let's start with 62 years old, right? To start with 62 years.
62, 63, somewhere in that vicinity.
They got a
Okay.
rich history with the Yowie.
He's got
Camera.
Yowie.
Still got the camera on.
Yeah,
the camera off. The camera's still on, River.
Now I can't turn it off for him. He's got to do it. I tried.
He said he was going to. Maybe he forgot.
I saw that. Yeah.
Maybe it's like that stupid thing where I was having trouble the one day and it wouldn't do nothing.
I love the way they greet,
Zoomed in too far.
how it goes. That's neat. And the West Coast, what's up, man? Maryland, yo, probably.
Good old Maryland. Yeehaw.
We're all
Hey,
Hey.
well, I can't
there. He is.
turn the camera off.
Oh Lord!
He's a good cunt.
Normally it's the other way around. I can't turn them on. He can't turn us off. Poor River.
Poor River.
Nah,
Oh,
it's not going to work with that camera on. I know it's not.
Yeah, River. Unless you can get the camera off, I don't think we're gonna be able to do this.
Yeah, his ghost in his house messing stuff up for him.
Yeah,
It's
I've
that
seen
ghost.
it.
Yeah.
Hey, I've seen that curtain move. Billy Schilling's seen a ghost in there. Did you see anything, David?
I've seen it. Oh yeah.
When he's on the phone with us, I think Misty or somebody else said they saw something when they were
Greg Howe saw it.
Yeah, Greg Howe saw it. I know Billy saw it. I know the one time the curtain just started moving while I was talking to him.
He's got it this time. He's got it this time. Hopefully it works for him now.
How's he say hello? I love that.
Cooey.
He's like,
Hey.
There he is.
How goes it?
Hey. Hey, how you going?
How you going? That's it.
Now it's working.
How you going, Mike?
River.
Nailed
Don't tease us.
He's officially entered the chat.
More cowbell.
More cowbell. I have a need.
Classic.
River, how's it going?
Hey, how you going, Bunyips?
Love you, River.
Pretty good. We love you, man.
Hey, can you hear me now?
We
Yeah.
sound good now.
Loud and clear.
Crystal clear. We were just discussing your rich history over there in Australia.
Now talk Yowie.
Boy, Joseph,
River's got
I can hear about 20 different voices.
That's because we all talk at one time and never shut up.
We all talk, then we all shut
I
up.
try to talk, and then someone else is talking, and then it's like there's a delay, and somebody else is going on. Maybe I'm just delayed. I don't know.
No comment. Oh boy.
Three tones. He's good.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're all
that
going to be
would fall in
flocking to his
Bigfoot.
house.
I like to bark in it. Let's go.
And you heard it here.
You heard it here first.
River's intro.
Yeah.
Am I going to have to
Love
join
it,
in
River.
here?
Can you can play on Mike? Can you play us something?
Hey, look out.
Sure.
I know. I can see it. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm sure you're fine. You're good.
That was some amazing playing. Thank you.
I love that, River.
Now
I can
we're
hear
going
you,
on.
fellas. I can hear you loud and
Oh.
clear.
Little dueling banjos for down south. I don't have a pick. I'll have to use an earbud.
Yeah.
Man, it's wide. Let me rig something up here.
This has turned into a good
Turn into a hootenanny.
At further, bro.
Hey, I
Good
can hear
old
you loud and
fashioned.
clear.
Oh, Lord.
The
Come on
camera's
down
not
to bend the
on.
music.
The camera's off.
Yep. Good. I don't do musical instruments.
I like playing piano, saxophone. I play almost all the instruments. I've always been fascinated.
Best thing I could do is go outside and give you the 21 gun salute. That's
Music is the key to happiness.
Yep, I agree.
And it's the key to memories. If you hear a song you listen to back in the day, you'll remember where you were when you heard that.
That's right.
Hello.
I can't play nothing, but I can hear it.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Listen, you'll always know what you like to play when you just start playing with instruments. I'm self-taught. I mean, I tried doing guitar lessons in 6th grade, but wasn't very good.
Question is, what does the big guy like?
Right. I'm trying to figure that out. I can play. You guys know how to play the hand
Hey,
flute?
g'day, the bunyips. Hello.
I did.
Yeah. Well,
The
I do
old
an
meters
hour.
don't work so good.
Yeah. Tree thumbs.
Exactly.
River, you still there?
Yeah, he chimes in every now and then with a couple words. You guys are talking. Twinkle, twinkle, little star.
It's more like just little star.
I got a good story. I got a good story for you guys.
Let's hear it.
I met Jesus Christ. Now it's actually a near-death experience.
Wow. We need to hear it.
I had a peek.
This internet
I had a
sucks.
peek.
This internet sucks.
I had a peek at the other side.
Yeah. And
Fill us in, Mike.
Pretty-
I'm very, very
Yeah,
curious.
Let me just say, I was bummed to come back. I'll kick
how
things
was your
off.
near death? What happened that caused the near death?
I drowned in the Chesapeake Bay when I was
My
oh
God.
God,
This is terrible.
5, 6. I was little, and my brothers were all about a year apart, 10 months apart, middle, and then a year for my oldest. So we're like steps. And I was always the smallest. Middle was a little bit taller, and then the tallest. Always like steps. And my dad always had boats, and he dropped my mom and us off at this. You might know where this place is. What is it called? Welch's Point. Welch's Point. Anyway, it was a hot spot back in the day where people would ride 3-wheelers and drink and party, whatever. So boat people would park up there and let their kids have fun, whatever. And this was by ourselves, nobody else around. So me and my 2 brothers are swimming, and my mom's like, don't you older boys don't go too far out. Michael's not going to be able to keep up with you guys. He's going to drown. No life jackets. And we did this every weekend. It's not like it was like the first time I ever went swimming. I mean, this was like a normal day. It was weird. So I'm going out a little bit further. I'm following them, naturally, a little bit deeper. And before I knew it, this is where the water was. And, the waves are going like this, and they're stopping at my nose. So I'm starting to freak out, and I can't touch anymore. So I'm throwing my hands up, but trying to doggy paddle. And so the water would go below my mouth, and I'd scream, "Ma!" And then, it would take me over again. And this went on I felt like forever, but I don't know my mom was paying attention to the dogs or the whatever at the beach, wasn't hearing me. But my last attempt, before I couldn't do it anymore, I just and just went down and just kept going down. And then my arms went, I just sort of just floated, let it take me. And there was nothing else I could do. I just let it happen. And I saw her get up from her she was sitting Indian style, and I watched her get out of position. So I felt like she was coming. So I let go and just sort of was like, oh, that's it for me. She better come get me. And I remember like it was yesterday, I'm starting to go down, and I can hear, if you're ever underwater, you can hear boat motors whining. And it's like, me, and that's just random boats in the water, and it travels. So I hear that. I'm opening my eyes, and it's like a dirty, sandy brown water, murky water. And this goes on for about like 10 seconds, and I'm just sort of letting go, and there's nothing else I could do. I'm just sort of down there. And then the lights go out. Everything goes pitch black. The noise stops. Everything goes pitch black. And then it flashes to me, nose to chest, to someone with a giant white beard, and my head is up against their chest like this. And I couldn't look up. For some reason, I couldn't physically look up at this person's face. But I remember the straggly hair and the silver and the white and the beard and the white shirt. So I had just this visual. And then I feel arms just come around me, but it felt like my whole body, not just my back. And it was like the most fulfilling, warm love and accepting I've ever felt in my whole life. It just felt like I was home.
Hey, I'm back.
And I don't know how long
that happened.
I'm not sure how long that happened. Like how long I was, head to chest. But then in the next moment, I wake up and I'm in a lot of pain, and I can hear the electrical lights in the hospital above me whining. Felt like going through my body, like, I, heard the fluorescent light bulbs, and I'm starting to panic, but I'm strapped to a bed, and there's tubes in my throat, and there's my family around me. And I was so depressed that I was back. I was like, why? Why am I back here? I don't want to come back here. That was amazing. And then, that was it.
That's what's so great about that is I was about the same age, and we had, like I said, 6 kids. So there was like 6 of us kids, and we had our cousins, and there was like 10 of them, and we're all around the same ages and stuff. And we were swimming on this river, and it had, good flow. It's really clear water, clean, clear water, called the Trinity River. And back then, I remember having to have the armbands. To swim in that river, we had to have armbands on and stuff. And I remember I took my armbands off, and it was really cold water. Even though it was summer, it was really cold water and stuff. And I was standing kind of like waist deep in this river, and all my cousins and my older brother and stuff, and everybody was swimming, and I was downriver from everybody. And I remember I was just kind of digging my toes in the sand, and it was kind of a slant. So as I was digging my toes in the slant, I just started like sinking down into the river. And I just remember the water, like you said, just kind of coming up to my nose. And I was trying to keep my nose up, but I just kept sinking down. And I knew how to doggy paddle and stuff, but like the current just kind of dragged me down. And I could hear the splashing, and the people jumping in upstream from me. And I could even see them, underwater. But in my mind, it was so crazy because it was so relaxed.
Yeah.
And I remember just seeing like my bubbles, blah, 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 and I was just floating down, and the water was carrying me downstream. And I just remember it was just like this most relaxing feeling. Mm-hmm. I wasn't scared. I wasn't like frantically flailing. I was kind of like you when you felt like someone was coming, like just letting go. And I just remember as I was floating down, I'm looking upstream, and I could see legs, and people jumping in and stuff, and hear it. And I just remember I was just about to that point to where the darkness was closing in. Yeah. And I just felt somebody grab me, and out of the water I came. And it was one of my cousins seeing me floating down under the water, and just picked me up right when I didn't get to see the other side, but it was just closing in. But it was relaxing. And people say, oh, I don't want to die of drowning. Well, I do, if that's the way I'm going to go.
It's very casual.
Yeah. Just
because my fight, just like you, I tried everything I could to get attention, and then I just knew this is my last shot, and giving it everything I got. I saw a position move. Okay, done.
Once my feet slipped off that edge and I went under, it was just like that. Like I'm done. That same feel, like I'm done. Nobody sees me. But somebody did, and they grabbed me right when I was like floating off underwater.
That's a close one.
Yeah, that was a crazy story. I like that.
Wow. More. Give me more.
I got a pretty wild one. I watched my friend almost. Well, in my mind, he was dead. Like, there's no way he survived this. So, like I said, I rode dirt bikes and stuff, but this is before I ever raced. Did any hare scrambles or motocross or any of that. This is sort of just sticking around with my buddies in the local field and train tracks. And this older kid was sort of our ringleader. He knew where we were supposed to be going, and we would get lost trying to find this Marley Pitts area. And every time he'd be like, "You're going the wrong way," and then he would just take off and leave us. But this weekend, he backtracked and he was going as fast as he could towards us, thinking we were going the wrong way, but we knew where we were going. But he didn't know we knew where we were going, so he's pissed. He's got to come back for the youngins again and give us, S about it. And he hits a cinder block. And he's on a RM 250 fifth gear pin, and he's probably doing 60 miles an hour. And we're just sitting on our bikes watching him, and he's full speed, and he hits like a little railway bridge concrete block, and he just gets bucked up in the air like he was on a coiled spring. And his position was this. In the air, never changed. So he went straight in the air like this, but the bike went higher than he did, end over end. And this is a 300-pound bike. And it's just, and he's, boom, he's probably 20 feet from where he started, lands in the weeds. The bike's flipping in the air still. Boom, the bike lands and falls over. And we look at each other like, oh my God, he's dead. So we take off towards him and we're like, Anthony, where are you? And he's starting to get his breath back. And so we know he's okay, and he's getting up, and he's all tattered, and his jersey's ripped up, and he's limping over to his dirt bike. He's like, "You mother effers are going the wrong way." And we just let him have it, like, okay. And so he's pissed, and he's hurt, and he sits back on the dirt bike. He's already got a flat back tire. And as soon as he sits on the bike, the front tire, and then he throws the bike. He broke a couple ribs, and he was cut up, but I thought he was dead. And that same summer, the kid I was with, he and I, same thing. This is before we knew where to go. We parked our dirt bikes next to the train tracks, and we're walking on a 50-foot high railroad bridge, and there were no sides. I mean, we were pushing fate, and we just were throwing rail stones off of the bridge into the creek and whatever. Kids dick around, they do dumb stuff. And this is just such a slow CSX train deal anyway, where we hardly ever see trains come through, but for some reason, here it comes, and we're in the middle of this 250-foot bridge, and it's time to go. And we both looked at each other like, we gotta move now, or we're crushed, dead, or jumping off this bridge to die. I start running, and I trust my friends on my tail right behind me. I hear Mike, and I turn around, and his foot is stuck in between the rail ties. And he's, these heavy duty dirt bike boots, they're stiff. So I'm like, oh shit. So I haul back to him. I see the train coming now. I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. So I'm running towards him, and I'm trying to get his foot out. And at the last second, I yank his foot out, and we take off the other way. And the train guy's blaring the horn like, you idiots, move. And we shove our bikes away from the rail, and we got lucky. There's been some close calls like that.
I've had one bad one over here in the creek. Jerry knows this area. Remember that little that turbulent spot there in Deer Creek? The one everybody calls the toilet bowl? I almost died in that thing.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I gotta go get a charger. I'll be right back.
And that was not good. Jerry, did you lose your service again?
Yeah. I'm going to disappear, Jeff. I'm going to turn it over to you. I'll be back.
I thought you were already disappearing, then you came back.
Well, I didn't want to walk out in the middle of the story. So, you take it from here. Just watch the F-bombs, guys. That's all right.
Watch the F-bombs.
I'll be back.
I didn't know if we did any.
No.
Okay. Yeah,
I'll be back.
We won't do that.
Man, trying to prop this thing.
So, Mike, when I was
Yep.
16, my best friend was 15, and his dad was like an army, was in like Vietnam and stuff, and had the army manual book that
Sure.
showed you like survival book and stuff. And he made his own grenade. I mean, he bought like like the body of the grenade.
I had one of those friends.
Okay. So long story short, he got caught with it in class.
Oh God!
Before that, on a Friday, he was going to go to my house on the weekend. I lived way up in the woods, and he was going to ride the bus to my house. A teacher who was a war veteran caught my friend with it out of his backpack, took it up in front of class, and literally pulled the pin that held like that spoon part that goes on the side. And me and my friend Matt were like sinking down into our chairs, like he's going to blow everybody up. It was live. Called the office, sent my friend and his backpack to the office. The office looks at this grenade, calls the Trinity County Police Department. Trinity County cops come down there, look at the grenade. He had the blasting caps, which are like a quarter stick of dynamite, like the wires and there's like the blasting cap that goes down into the grenade. He had everything.
Yeah.
The Trinity County Police looked at it and said, "Oh, it's all just dummy grenades." Gave it back to him. He rode the bus to my house that Friday. That Saturday morning, we had like 8 inches of snow on the ground. And we're talking my older brother, we're trying to talk him into driving us like 15 miles up to these in-ground dumpsters, like for the dump.
Yeah.
These in-ground dumpsters that were out of metal and stuff. And we're trying to talk him into drive us up there. And we were going to throw it in that dumpster and let it blow up. He was like, I don't know. How does this thing work? And so my friend had drilled like another hole through it and put another pin, like a homemade pin through it. So in theory, you could pull that pin, let that piece go, and it'd fly off. And then the piece that would spring over and like set the timer to the grenade, which a lot of them are like 3 to 5 seconds. You pull that pin, you have 35 seconds before they go off. Well, we're sitting in the living room of this mobile home. I'm 16, my friend's 15. My brother Charlie's 7 years older than me, so he was 22, if my math's right, 23. And he's like sitting in a kitchen chair in the living room beside the wood stove, and I'm sitting on the couch right beside my friend, and he's like right here beside me. So he's like, I don't know, how does this thing work? And he's like, well, you just do this. And he pulled the pin, let that piece fly. We watch it fly, it hit the ceiling and hit the floor. And then when I looked at and I'm literally like right here looking at the grenade. Oh, my brother Charlie's like right in front of it. And my friend, he's left-handed, so he's holding it in his right hand and he's pointing with his left. And you could see that pin he had was like broke, and that striker part was sitting where it wasn't supposed to. It's so much like what you're saying, like you saw your friend dead kind of thing. But
yeah.
So it was like, once I looked at that and I saw it was broke, it was like 2, 3.
Yeah, yeah.
And so the next thing I know is I see like a red vision, I guess you could say, like everything was red, like a sunset red, and a shadow vision of me like shooting a gun. That's what my mind showed me. And it was like, and all of a sudden I like just came back and I'm sitting up off the couch and my friend's already standing up in front of me. His hand's gone. The finger he's pointing with is dangling.
Is this for real?
Just meat and blood splattered on his face. My brother's laying on the floor, like over backwards, and he's scrambling to get up. And he got hit in the shoulder. So he's like holding his shoulder, trying to get up.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And so
you saw your friend maim himself.
Oh yeah. And I'm literally, the grenade is right in my face. And it was like, when it went off. And what saved us all was he made his own gunpowder. Instead of it going boom, it just went like woof.
Oh, so that
that
might have saved you guys.
Explosion. Huge.
Yeah.
How many of his fingers were missing?
All of them.
Oh, God.
He just had like a wrist and it was blown like wide open. This finger over here that he's pointing with was dangling by skin, and a piece went through his chest, like a sliver of it, and was sticking out his back. And my brother got hit on his shoulder. I can't remember. I think it was his left shoulder. And so, like, boom, it goes off. My brother's, I can see him out of the corner of my eye. He's scrambling to step, get back up. My friend's standing right in front of me, and it's just like there's no hand there. It's just like But what's the weirdest thing, though, you guys, was he was looking at me like I'm dead.
Really?
Me like I was dead. And he was already standing there. I mean, he got up from the couch and was standing there looking at me when I came to, and I wasn't even touched. I didn't hit one piece. I had chunks of his meat in my hair, forehead.
I couldn't even imagine.
16, kids. And so I jump up, and I watch him go to the front door of our mobile home, and literally, because he's left-handed, and that's the one he was holding the grenade with, he tried to grab the door handle, and the door handle literally went inside his blown open wrist. I'm trying not to get too graphic.
No,
and it just like puddled blood on the floor. And I watched him try to open the door, and then he grabbed it with his other hand, his fingers dangling. He gets the door handle turned, and he goes outside in the snow. And about that time, me and my brother are scrambling, and we're going up the hallway towards the back door. Yeah. And my sister Sandy, who's a year older than me, she was in the bathroom. She was like that time, she was cutting like the lines in your hair, like the shave lines that you used to do. And she come out of the bathroom. She's like, "What are you guys doing?" All pissed. I was like, Matt blew his effing hand off, trying not to drop any bombs.
Yeah.
And we went around this way out the back door, and here comes my friend Matt around the other way, and is passed out in the snow, and it's like cherry slush. And long story short, though, he lived, and they did like reconstruction on his hand and stuff. But the weirdest thing was that he was looking at me when he was standing there looking at me. I don't know if I can get it, but he was just looking at me like
you were just glued to bits.
Like I was dead. It was the weirdest thing. And I asked him about it. He goes, "All I remember is I just remember you on the couch looking at me." And I was, I wasn't touched. He got blown up. My brother got blown up. But I was like the last one to kind of come out of it. It was the weirdest thing. I don't know how to explain it.
So did your brother have any marks on him?
Oh, yeah. He got nailed right in the shoulder.
That's got to be the story of the town.
Yeah. We lived
Blalack. What in the hell are you talking about?
Isn't that something?
My brother was shot, and he was trying to call 911, and he kept calling 411. Back then, it was like the landline, the old dial phone and crap, the old push button phone.
We're getting into some heavy stuff, brother.
Wow.
Yeah,
he's like, "What are you guys talking about?"
And he's like, crazy. "I'm trying." He's like, They're like 911.
That makes my childhood look like, Sesame Street, man.
It was crazy bad. It scarred me. I had nightmares.
Powder will do that to you.
I had nightmares where he was standing in front of me, like with his hand on, and just looking down at me like I was still on the couch, going, "David, why didn't you help me? David, why didn't you?" I would go in. I was 16. I would go in my mom and dad's bedroom and just lay on the floor and sleep by them just for like comfort.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It was crazy.
I think the worst.
Your friend, just like something didn't add up. It didn't seem right.
Something's maybe your friend doesn't remember him looking at you like that because maybe he was in his shock of the first initial look and like holy crap, and then you interpreted his shock to be like, "Am I dead?" Because he looked so. I don't know. That's wild.
I've thought about every angle. Believe me, it's been a long time since that happened.
Oh, I bet. I would give somebody crap if they're playing with a lighter after that. I'd be like, "Stop!" I've been there.
Anybody messes with fireworks or firecrackers, I'm like, "Get that crap away from me! I don't want to see it."
No doubt, you're probably grounded forever.
Yep.
Well, I guess we're only having a fireworks party when you come over.
Oh man. Now he'd be our safety man. You kidding?
Yeah. I'm sure your old friend makes a good safety, man. He's got to use a hook to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the local kids I grew up with, when the 30 pandemic happened, people started taking painkillers in my town. He started to steal wires off of buildings to get his fix and turn it in for money. It's like he's stealing copper. And we heard a story about this kid. He was trying to cut live wire off of the ceiling of a building, and he blew his hand. He burned his hand all up, and now he's just got this constant crippled hand. I'm like, that wasn't worth it, dude. I mean, work for your drug money like all of us do. No, but yeah,
real draw for your drugs.
Yeah, I don't got to steal for my dope. That means I'm no addict. I had some weird stuff happen. Like the first time, I think this was the second time I ever tried mushrooms. I was probably 20 years old, maybe 21, and we were just cruising around on dirt bikes.
Okay.
Oh, come on, Jerry.
Come on.
We were just having a good ride.
It's over. Forget it.
No, listen, this is good. It's not crazy. No more Jerry Jewett. But the neighbor wrecks on his kid's dirt bike, and the foot peg goes through his cheek.
Oh.
And he rides up to us like, "Hey guys, why'd you stop riding? I'm fine. Let's keep going." And we're, I'm in a mindset that I can't handle this right now. I'm looking at this guy's face hanging off. Woo!
Oh, yeah.
Jerry's got to dip out. He's like, I can't.
That's it. I'm done.
I think we're gonna have to.
No, I'm eating, and I don't want to sit here while everybody's watching me eat.
Oh, that's fair.
That is fair.
I shot my buddy with a.
Make me hungry.
I shot my buddy with a BB gun once. It was 17 pumps on an air rifle. It was meant to be for the beaver that kept damming up our creek and ruining our dirt bike trails. And I'm just dicking around, swinging the gun like this. I'm not aiming. I'm not trying to shoot anybody. But then, bink, and he goes, "You shot me. You shot me." And he's pointing at his arm, and the BB's in there. And I'm like, "Oh my God,"
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, like I didn't mean to do that. He's my best friend in the world.
Yes.
And that was the same when I had to save off the tracks.
That's awesome, Mike.
I saw a British kid put a dirt bike foot peg through his thigh. Didn't even puncture the dirt bike pants, but it busted a hole in his leg, and you could see the arteries and stuff in there. I got crushed by a train. See this scar here? That's I had about 7 couplers. I got my hand between 2 train couplers.
Oh.
And the loco driver wasn't paying attention, and he had it in gear, and I'm trying to lock the coupler in front of me, and he was like a foot away, and I didn't realize he was creeping up on me when he should have been stopped, and then boom, smashed my hand in between the couplers, and it just exploded because of the pressure, and it was just bone. But yeah, I was about 22 then, 21, 22. But yeah.
I've got a pretty messed up finger because of skid loader tire fell on me, but that was rough.
The rim part or the tire?
The tire. I got stuck between the lip, like how the shield is, and then there's the tire.
Ouch.
That'll do it.
I lost a lot of fingernails.
Nine stitches in that. 9 stitches in that finger, and they couldn't stitch the rest of it back together.
Yikes! Well, I flipped a car with no seatbelt, drunk once, and my head went through the windshield. I got lucky.
For hard heads, huh?
Oh man, that was a hard lesson. That was the first and last time I ever drove drunk. Dude, listen to this. I had a DUI, DWI, reckless driving, reckless endangerment, speeding. I hit a parked car that wasn't even registered. Nobody even claimed this Jeep I hit. And they had my blood. They had my breathalyzer. I was dead to rights. They had me. I mouthed off to the paramedics and everybody else I could. I was just a dick. And they gave me my advice of rights and took my license. And then I went and saw a lawyer the next day, and he said, well, go back to the MVA and get your license back. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, just go get your license back. You didn't sign any tickets? I said, no. Go get your license back. So I go and I get my license back. Find a new car for $120. Didn't have to pay for the Jeep. And then 6 months later, the police officer knocked on my door, and I knew not to answer it. So I didn't. And then they sent a letter 2 weeks later that it was a null prosecution on all the charges. So I got lucky. That never happens.
Yeah. I know I've messed up before drinking and driving and just got
and
away.
I was texting. It was because I was texting.
Yeah. Yeah. Mine was just I was so drunk.
Yeah.
But somehow, man, just barely escaped catastrophe. I mean, literally. My wife didn't even know we were almost dead one time, and it sobered me right up. And I was like, okay, we're driving home now. Just so close.
It makes you wonder how long you've driven in your life where you're sleeping and don't know it, and then you snap back awake, and you just we're lucky.
Yeah. That's the only time I've ever wrecked, Mike. I rolled my truck off side of a mountain. Dreaming I was still driving, totally sober, but dreaming I was still driving. And the soft gravel kind of jerked me out of it, and it was too late.
Couldn't correct.
Right. I didn't get hurt. My truck was totaled, but I didn't get hurt. So
maybe you were loose like me. I had no seatbelt on. It was probably doing 60.
I didn't either. My gun came out of the door and hit me in the forehead. I had a knot from my big old revolver, but that was it. And Charlie horses on my legs where they hit the steering wheel. That was it.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, my brother, he's had a lot of gnarly car accidents. Like, for instance, he used to be into the racing, street racing scene. I mean, that was all the rage when Fast and Furious came out. And he had this little Dodge Neon. And he put all his money in this car, credit cards, I mean, this thing was fast. And it had all the safety features you wanted, but it was fast. And he would go race, and I would know when he would go race. And I happened to be working at the train place on a Saturday, which I never did. I was going to ride with them that night. I would have been in the back seat, and then his friend would have been in the passenger seat. They went to 202 Philly. And I think 11:30, 12 o'clock, they got rear-ended. A drunk guy was doing 120 miles an hour and smashed into the back of my brother's car where I was going to be seated, pushed the whole trunk into the back seat. And they were fine, had concussions, but I would have been dead if I rode with them. It's crazy to think about.
That's crazy, huh?
Yeah. Makes you wonder. Right place, right time.
Yep.
All right, guys, I don't mean to cut you off, but it's right after 10 o'clock here. So.
All right, you take off. We're going to hang.
No, we're going to call the show. Appreciate you guys coming on. Always more information. I'm sure, Mikey, we're going to bring you back on again sometime soon.
Sure.
And get into the paranormal part of your findings and doings and all that good stuff that you mentioned last week for sure.
Yeah.
But, the photos, the videos, and all that stuff. It's pretty cool from over there, and I can't get over how much that place is just woolly, from what I remember from years ago. So.
And there's another section we haven't even seen yet.
Yeah.
So
okay, awesome, good deal.
Nice meeting you, David.
You too, man.
Jeff, it's always a pleasure. Jerry, appreciate your courtesy.
Always. Oh yeah, always. Appreciate you coming on, David. Thank you. I wish we could have got a little more time with River Morris, but that's tough getting an Australian signal to work here. So.
Yeah.
Hopefully, though. Yeah. Absolutely. I'll try to stop in and say hi tomorrow night, Mary, before my other show's on tomorrow night at 8. So, Jeffrey. Hello, Jeff. Oh, he's muted. Who muted him? I must have muted you by accident.
Rolling.
Now I know how to get even with him. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. But, yeah,
I did it. I had you muted. You walked away from the camera. It worries me.
I don't have my earpiece in, so you're safe.
I got you. Okay. Anyway, appreciate you guys coming on. Appreciate everybody's in the chat, whoever's left here. But next Tuesday, I guess, Jeffrey.
Yeah.
Tap me in if you need me.
Yep, we will. We'll holler at
It was
you.
an honor to be here, you guys.
We appreciate you
Yeah,
being
man.
here. Absolutely. Otherwise,
Till
maybe we
next
could
time.
just, appreciate it.
See you guys.
Next week.
Bye.
Ah.